Yo.
What's happening in AFAB family? Sorry, I'm trying to tweet.
Ooh, Mr. Twitter fingers himself.
What's happening, everybody?
Mr. Twitter fingers himself. What's good, baby?
Happy Sunday, or whatever day ending in Y that y'all may be catching this guy.
So fly.
But I'm not a rapper. But I'm
certainly not.
What's happening, Ty? Good afternoon, sir.
I'm doing well. Feeling good. Off season's progressing. And the business part of football is starting to rear its head.
Blech.
The looking at last year, right? Those expectations were there, but like part of the reason that I know I felt like I wanted that team to get it done is because we knew that there was a good chance the team would look real different coming into this season.
For sure.
Right? There's just too many. And, we could do a whole nother show about the Dallas Cowboys deal-making methods. Might not have enough
Please
time.
let me get on my soapbox.
But the point is, that those deals have been made, right? And some of that has to be exercised this offseason, right? That's what we're getting into today, right? We are looking at what are the cap casualties, that are here or are coming very soon. Some of them just seem imminent, even though nothing has been, done yet. And that franchise tag conversation, because you're starting to hear quite a bit about that. So we can dive into those today, get going. We'll see what we got in the chat.
Yeah, somebody likes one of our headphones. I'm not sure whose. I'm going to assume mine because I usually assume it's me when compliments come rolling in.
Yeah, your headphones. Yeah, your headphones are nice, though.
I'm going to assume it's me, but I don't know.
They are good. They are good. But yeah, man, it's this is the business part of football, right? And this is kind of the disappointing part about that team not getting it done, because you knew there was a good chance that was the 1 year of all that talent being together for sure, right? So yeah, man, let's get into it. I hope you can keep your attention on us, so and not.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for anybody that sees me just continuously looking off the side of the screen. It's like my favorite week of the year, right? NFL Combine is going on right now. Got these defensive backs working out. And I just really enjoy watching the underwear Olympics. Sue me. It is what it is. I have a good time.
Olympics.
Have a good time watching the guys run, watching them test. Tariq Woolen, corner at a UTSA, looking like a super freak. 6'4", running in the 4.3s is nasty. Yeah, but we're not here to talk about Tariq Woolen today.
No.
Who are we here to talk about?
Next shows.
Who are we?
Man, first up, it's your boy, Amari Cooper.
My boy? Coop is my guy. That's my guy.
It is. Wide receiver 1 is about to be wide receiver done. He is definite. It sounds, I was about to say definitely, but it is likely. Okay.
Sure. I think an Amari Cooper release from the Dallas Cowboys is imminent.
Feels
that's
imminent,
probably a pretty good pretty good word to put on that.
Deals and
Yeah, man. Look, this is all about the money, right? And we could say whatever we want about, Coop had a down year. He didn't have 1,000 yards receiving. Um, whatever. We can literally say whatever we want about the offense, about,
yeah,
him missing a couple games, getting COVID, being unvaccinated. What did that cost the team? That's fine, bro. This is all about the fact that the Dallas Cowboys are going to save $16 million this year by cutting Amari Cooper.
yep.
And to go a little bit deeper, but not too deep because I'll derail the whole conversation.
It's deeper than
This
that.
is more so about the fact that you sign guys like Jalen Smith and Ezekiel Elliott to long-term deals, and that you lost out on DeMarcus Lawrence and Dak Prescott deals. It's more about that. Because if you didn't make those bad deals, if you didn't lose on those other deals, Amari Cooper, $16 million cap hit or cap savings would not be an issue because you wouldn't be projected to be $20 million over the cap, right?
Right.
That's the situation the Cowboys find themselves in, is they got to find a way to cut like $25 million out of their current cap number just to break even. And that's not even talking about re-signing Gallup or Schultz or Gregory or J-Ron Curse, any of these other guys that we're looking at. It's not even talking about outside free agents, right? The Cowboys put themselves in a bad situation, and Amari Cooper is going to be the casualty because of it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's a lot of people taking shots at his performance, or whatever issues they had with him, because it feels like you said imminent that he's leaving. So you see people attaching a lot of this just random stuff, but
right.
I just he was we were talking about it before the show. Dak's QBR is top 5 in the NFL when Cooper's playing on on the field.
Right. If you take Dak's QBR, which I think was a 67, if I got that right. If you take his QBR when Amari Cooper is on the field, and you said that's his QBR for the whole season, right? So you take out the games that Amari Cooper missed, stuff like that, right? He's top 5 in the league. He's a top 5 quarterback in the league, even with Coop not showing out on the stat sheet. Tariq Woolen is faster than a 4.31. He just ran a 4.3 flat. The dude is 6'4". But yeah, man, I think the first thing that's gonna go on my lovely whiteboard right here behind me is I'm gonna like draw up a play, right? And I'm gonna show everybody what cover 2 looks like to an outside receiver when that's what they see 70 times a game. And then y'all could tell me after it's on the whiteboard, if Amari Cooper is not a good wide receiver or if we just sucked at scheming him open. I'll take the latter.
Yeah, like you said, it's mostly for the business. I know there's people attaching a lot of other stuff to it. But this is really just about bad deal making. It's not because Amari Cooper's not an elite wide receiver. Some teams are going to get him and be very happy. You hear him floating around like maybe he'll try to get up with a quarterback that's moving like Russell Wilson. But
I hear Cleveland wants him.
Yeah, whoever gets him is going to be happy because he is a good wide receiver, and
and they're going to get him for nothing, right? Because nobody's trading for him because they know the Cowboys got to release him because they're strapped for cash.
Yep.
And they're going to get him for less than $20 million, which is what the Cowboys are paying him basically average per year right now.
Yep.
So they're going to get this guy for nothing, and they're going to sign him for probably 13 to 16 million, I would guess. So they're going to get him at an even cheaper price point than us, and they're not going to have to give anything up for him.
Yep.
So, yeah, somebody's going to be very happy that the Cowboys don't know how to make deals.
Now,
even though Jerry Jones is the best salesman of all time,
best. Yeah, we'll leave that there. Yeah, buddy. But really, when you look forward, because there was a lot of back and forth this year, I think about, is the, when Coop could play, was he making the team better, or were we, getting him the ball, or, were we explosive in the passing game? So how does this affect the team? Some people last year were like, hey, maybe we are better off without him, and now we are going to be without him, right? What are we looking at now, right? Because
how many points did we score against the Chiefs this year? 9?
I think it was 9.
And then he missed the next game too, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, and that didn't go super well for the offense. Look, man, if you tell me that I'm getting Michael Gallup back, which it looks like I'm getting Michael Gallup back, haven't seen any numbers on a contract extension, but it looks like they're working towards a deal. So tell me I got Gallup and CD. Everybody go check out my wide receiver rankings video I dropped yesterday. Give me one of those guys in my top 10 to either play in the slot or outside to let CD run in the slot. And tell me that my offensive coordinator can figure out a cover 2 shell. Tell me those 3 things and we'll be okay. Because it's ridiculous to think that like I have to have Amari Cooper, CD Lamb, and Michael Gallup for this team to be successful. Like if that's the case, there's a miss somewhere. There's a miss with your quarterback. There's a miss with your offensive coordinator. There's a miss with your running game, right? There's a miss somewhere if I need all 3 of those guys to make it work. Because the majority of the teams in the league do not need those 3 guys to make their offense go. Now, would you love to have those 3 guys? Yeah, absolutely. Of course. I want a plethora of talent everywhere if I can get it. But no, man, give me Gallup, give me CD, give me a first, second, third round wide receiver, one of those top 10, 12 guys, and tell Kellen Moore to do his freaking job, and I think we'll be okay. Are we going to miss Coop? Yeah, because I don't think he gets credit for the amount of double teams that he runs up against, the attention to the game plan for defensive, for the defensive side of the ball, the attention that they have to put on him. You're not doubling Michael Gallup and CD Lamb like you are Amari Cooper. Right. You're not bracketing them the same way that you're going to Amari Cooper because they're not the route technicians that Amari Cooper is. Right. So for me, I think that that's probably my biggest concern is, can I get a route runner that can really come in and just be more of that technician? I think there's a couple guys in the draft. Guy like Garrett Wilson, probably not going to be there at 24, but maybe his teammate Chris Olave, really like him as a route runner. There's a couple guys down there, right? Jahan Dotson can run a nice route. Traylon Burks looked really nice in the route drills at the combine. So, yeah, I mean, find me one of those guys and tell me my OC is going to do his damn job, and let's just get over it, man. I'm sad that he's going to go, but we shouldn't need him to make this thing go.
Yeah, it's it's just is what it is now, right? Like he is going to be gone. So,
right.
We were going to, even if he was here, we were going to have to figure out, the bigger or at least equal part of the problem in our scheming and what we're asking those receivers to do. But I believe in what you're saying there that even with quote unquote lesser personnel, with better coaching and game planning, we should be just fine. And there's other things that, we got to address in the draft too, to make sure that we're successful.
And hey, we're going to get Dalton Schultz back for $11 million a year. So, we should be great. Awesome.
Yeah.
He's really like good.
You're really believing what you're saying with the cap though, Cooper's the one that's been in the news, but a few other players to watch with regards to cap casualties. Because like you mentioned, the Cowboys are going to have to shed that money. And we got to bring some other people back.
Yeah.
So like, it's a little more space. I mean, let's talk about that though.
Yeah.
You got Lawrence and you got Brown that, with the savings look attractive, but I mean, does that make sense?
For DeMarcus Lawrence, because we're an $8 million savings, right?
Yeah.
If we cut him,
that's right.
For me, the way that DeMarcus Lawrence played last year when he came back from injury, I kind of want to keep him if it's an $8 million savings, right? The savings is a lot more next year than it is this year.
Right.
If you go post June 1 or into the 2023 season, right, your savings is going to be a lot better on a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm okay with that. If I'm only saving $8 million and you're already going to cut $16 million on Amari Cooper, At least let me keep D-Law, right? Let me keep D-Law. Let me re-sign Gregory. Parsons is still rushing on the edge. Maybe you pick up another guy in the draft or free agency to complement those guys. But D-Law, I'm trying to keep D-Law. And honestly, Anthony Brown, you're talking about a $5 million.
$5 million.
Yeah. You're talking about a $5 million savings with AB. I like Kelvin Joseph coming out of the draft, right? So I'm okay with Trayvon Diggs, Kelvin Joseph, Jordan Lewis, 1, 2, 3. But behind that, what do you have, right? Nashawn Wright, I don't know. And even Kelvin Joseph, we only saw him for a couple games because of injury and then just coming on late at the season. He looked good, but you haven't really seen what he could do, So you've got, one guy that's coming off of an all-pro season and Trayvon Diggs, double-digit interceptions. But also a guy who gave up a lot of yardage, right? So he's not just a lockdown, you can cut off one half of the field type guy. And you've got Kelvin Joseph, who is all but unproven, right? Who would be your other outside guy. And then Jordan Lewis, who is a nice slot player, right? Had kind of a career year for him last year in Dan Quinn's defense. So I think you could get away with it. If you could give me one of the corners, second, third round, right? Give me one of those guys, go ahead, take another one of these guys in the second, third round. Because I just don't know that I'm in on Nashawn Wright. And I mean, you really need 4 or 5 corners in the NFL. Saying I have 2 outside corners and a slot guy is not enough, right? So I don't know.
What are you going to do with that money, though? Right?
Right, exactly.
There's some things that look okay on paper because yes, there's savings there, but what's that $5 million getting you?
Right, and it's not getting you under the cap either because honestly, I mean, even the Cowboys could keep Amari Cooper for the record if they wanted to.
Correct.
They could. Because they're going to flip a switch in Dak's contract. That's always been the plan, right? They're probably going to flip a switch in Zach Martin's contract. So you're going to free up $25 million and come pretty close to a break even before you even touch anything. If you wanted to with Amari Cooper, you could push his money back another year. You could. You don't have to take that $16 million cap hit. There's switches to flip in there, right? You just push the guarantees back a little bit and then you deal with it next year. But I don't know. I'm okay with that, right? We're trying to win now. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's super urgent that we got to cut D-Law or Anthony Brown at this point. AB, if you want to save a few $1 million, as we go through free agency, you feel pretty good about your corners and we find one in the draft that we like. I'm okay with that. DeMarcus Lawrence, I really would rather not, because then you're strapping Micah Parsons, right? Now he's pretty much a permanent edge guy until we see what happens in the draft. So those would kind of be my thoughts there when it comes to, D-Law and AB and what that might look like for us.
Yeah, I don't really, and I think to your point, that's why you haven't heard really any news about those potential, contract situations. And maybe, like you said, Anthony Brown, a later decision.
Yeah, he could be a guy that I see that's a post June 1, right? You get through free agency, you get through the draft process, you get into some of your mini camps, right? You start to get into training camp and you're like, okay, we feel pretty good about these 3 guys and we got this other guy too. I could see Anthony Brown being a guy where we can shave $5 million and the team doing that. So certainly more so than DeMarcus Lawrence, I would hope.
Yeah.
If you make me lose Amari Cooper and DeMarcus Lawrence this year, I don't know. I might be a Chiefs fan by the end of the year or something.
I mean, like you said though, right? The way he was playing when he came back, that's
the monster.
If that's the guy, then that's worth it.
The monster.
So don't worry. But yeah, man. Speaking of, who is gonna be here, right? We've got the tag situation to talk about. Now, it's been we've been speculating for a while. I mean, you even said it a few times last season that Schultz is probably going to get tagged. Throughout the season, though, while Gregory was performing, that was the idea too of do we tag Gregory and try to figure out a way to get a deal done with that guy? Because again, right, just all that talent, right? When you saw, especially when Gregory, Parsons, and Lawrence were all together,
Right.
I mean, just a nightmare. That was when we were really, I don't
Wrecking
know.
crew, bro.
I was really
A
drinking the
wrecking
Super
crew.
Bowl Kool-Aid at that point because I
Yeah.
felt like at any point we were going to have a chance, right? Didn't matter, even against the elite offenses. So the news lately has been coming out saying that Schultz is likely the target of this tag, right? And I think before this is this is probably just more a response to Jarwin's I guess unexpected complications with his injuries, right? Because his hit, the thought was, okay, I mean, Schultz is good, right? But like Jarwin's gonna be back and
he's under
be good,
contract.
right? And he's under contract, so we'll let him go and we'll find another guy. But now Jarwin, they're talking about Jarwin's hip injury, like he might not play ever again.
Yeah.
Or that's something he needs to consider.
Sure.
Right? For like his quality of life because of the hip injury.
Sure.
So now we're in a situation where like, Dalton Schultz, who was a good receiver, a good tight end.
Kyle Rudolph's a free agent. Give him $2 million and figure it out.
But that was kind of my point. He still feels like just a guy. And now it feels like we're tagging a guy, because our tight end position is completely in flux right now.
To me, this is like the exact opposite of the Amari Cooper situation, right? So again, to go back to the way defenses were scheming against us in the second half of the year, that cover two shell, I've got two deep safeties and I've got a corner on the outside. So the majority of what Amari Cooper is doing is down the field, corners sitting in the flat, safety shaded over the top, right? Comeback route, corners underneath it because he's in the flat. Go route, safety shaded that way, right? Post route, you're running it into the safety. Like if you're not running slants and stick routes, you're not running anything against that as an outside receiver. So where do you attack that cover two?
Down the seam.
Down the seam, across the middle of the field.
Middle of the field, yeah.
Who's that guy? It's Dalton Schultz and Cedric Wilson, right? We all loved Cedric Wilson last year because of what he did. But the same thing, right? They were the benefit of our offensive scheme not being able to figure out how the hell to get the ball to our best players. So we just settled for what is the correct read, right? In that situation. And that's hit your inside guy in that cover two shell, right? Hit that seam, hit the little, play action rollout, drag across the middle. I could find a guy that can do that because he's going to be open, man.
I know.
He's going to be open. Dalton Schultz isn't doing anything to work himself open. He is not a man beater one-on-one. You are not going to put him outside and let him handle those kind of responsibilities. He can't block worth a damn.
No.
Which is so weird because coming out of the draft, the bill on this dude was he can block, but can he catch passes? Right? He can't block.
Yeah, but he's doing the thing that makes him money.
And his tag number is what? 10-8, right? It's like $11 million.
10-8. Projected market value 4 years, $50 million.
So I could just leave everything as is, not even move Cooper's money, right? And I could take that $16 million hit and turn it into a $5 million hit. And all I have to do is not franchise tag Dalton Schultz. That's all I have to do. To turn that $16 million into $5 million, that's all I have to do is not sign Dalton Schultz on the franchise tag. That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
I mean, look, I don't.
That was nuts, bro.
I'm not crazy about it, but I think because of the cap situation this year, tagging Gregory feels untenable.
Sure.
Because that's $20 million.
And I don't know that his contract's going to be that big.
Right.
Probably a 12 to 15 million a year guy.
Right.
At least you're hoping, right? Somebody could swing in free agency and be like, "No, I'll give you 480, whatever, bro. Let's go."
Yeah. Spotrac projects his market value of 3 years, 39.7. So about 13 mil a season. You got to get that deal done. And Gregory wants to, I think he feels good here, right? He wants to keep playing. He likes, the his role in the defense. Just get that done. But I think it's the tag, it's the price of that tag mixed with what, the deal making and how we got here that just makes tagging him untenable. Although I think you would, just all things being equal, would rather tag Gregory and have him around.
For the record, I'd rather have Gregory at 19 than Schultz at 11. Just the thought, like it's almost like physically stomach turning to think that I am gonna let go of Amari Cooper and then franchise tag Dalton Schultz, and my net savings for the year is gonna be $5 million.
Yep.
I know Jerry's mad at Coop because, he didn't get vaccinated and had to miss 2 games.
Whatever.
I know you're mad, Jerry, but don't do dumb business things because you're mad, fam. Don't. You gotta take emotion out of it, bro. Dalton Schultz is not an $11 million player. He will never be an $11 million player.
It's not.
And 90% of teams in the league would be jumping for joy if you told me I'll give you Amari Cooper over Dalton Schultz and it's only going to cost you $5 million more. Just
saying. Look, man, what's going to be done, it feels like it's already been done. So we're just gonna have to accept what's happening. But just as a quick little wrap up, you had mentioned earlier, check out your wide receiver list. Talk a little bit about, does this change anything with, how you've got stuff mocked up? Are you looking more, at receiver? Obviously, maybe in the second round. I don't know. Maybe if one of those guys falls to 24 in the first, right, then we've got a really interesting situation, because if Green, or interior lineman, was there any other first round interior lineman we were looking
Linderbaum, your center.
Yeah. Okay.
Green, and then you got Zion Johnson
and Johnson. So obviously,
Boston College.
Most of the first round mocks got the Cowboys going with a lineman. I think I even seen Jordan Davis on some of them. So they're going linemen. But like, are we panicking? Are we saying, oh God, we gotta go get a guy at 24? Do we wait till the second day? What are we talking about with the receivers now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this changes it to a point where you're saying like I have to go get somebody at 24, right? I think it's going to be all about who's available. You mentioned a couple of those guys: Linderbaum, Green, Nakobe Dean could be in that mix, right? As one of those top flight guys you're looking at. But look, if I get, somebody falls in love with Treylon Burks because he's 6'2", 225 and ran a 4.5 40, and he's the first receiver gone. Maybe somebody's looking for the size of a guy like Drake London, right? A 6'4" dude that played in the slot. Those guys could, like, there's a chance that Garrett Wilson, who is pretty close to the consensus #1 receiver, is not the first receiver taken.
Yeah.
So if Garrett Wilson ends up being the third receiver coming off the board, that could be pick 24. Right. Jamison Williams, the Alabama wide receiver who got hurt, I would guess right now, as of today, he'll be there at pick 24.
So the question though, right? Are we taking one of those guys instead of Green? Instead of Linderbaum?
I don't think I am. Simply because I think that the wide receiver group is going to stretch just like it normally does, right? Michael Gallup was a guy we got in the third round.
Right.
I think that wide receiver group is going to stretch. I mean, I've got just the rankings video I did yesterday. I went through my top 10 guys. And I've got all 10 of those guys worthy of the first or second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there's a decent chance that 2 or 3 of those guys go in the third round just because, our 15 receivers going to go in the first 2 rounds? Probably not. Right. But our 15 to 20 going to go in the first 3 rounds, and our 10 to 15 of those guys going to be worthy of a second round pick. Yeah, that's probably going to happen. Right. So, yeah, I think that you can wait until day 2. You tell me, what do you want? You want CD in the slot, or you want him outside? Where you want CD?
I want him inside. I want him inside.
If you want CD inside,
I want CD inside.
If we're looking later, right? John Mechie out of Alabama,
right?
Played inside, outside, good route runner. Little bit of a case of the dropsies. Little bit of that. He had more drops than touchdowns in college, which is never a good thing. But he also had a ton of targets, right? So when you look at the ratio, like the drop ratio is not that high. His touchdown ratio isn't that high either.
Okay.
But still, he had more drops than touchdowns in college. You got to look at that. Plus the injury history a little bit. But if he's there with your second round pick at 56, please come on down. Jalen Tolbert out of Southern Alabama. He's like 6'1", 200, something like that. But a good speed guy. He can play inside, outside. And then even George Pickens out of Georgia. That dude is 6'3", almost 6'4", and ran like a 4.3 in the 40. With Pickens, it's really just – and this is where I'm kind of torn, right? So when I look at my construction of my team, Michael Gallup is not a technician.
No.
He's a down-the-field, go-get-it guy.
Yeah.
I think a guy like George Pickens might be one of those guys too.
Okay.
Right? So, then do I have 2 X receivers just because I want CD in the slot? I don't know if that's the route you want to go, right? CD may still be the better option, at least for year 1, to, have Gallup run the X, CD's your Z, work him in the slot too, right? They don't have to play one position. Kellen, Mike, in case y'all are wondering, you can put him in multiple spots.
Whoa.
Even in the same game, same drive
lock.
if you want to.
No, position lock.
Put CD in the backfield. We saw him do it a little bit.
Little.
He can do it, right? But, maybe if you're looking at those later rounds, Mechie could be a guy, again, that could play either spot. You could kind of interchange them. Sky Moore out of Western Michigan. That was a guy that a lot of people were talking like, maybe late third round, early fourth round. Right there. Man, Jeff Kavanaugh loves Sky Moore. That's like his third receiver or something like that. I'm not that high on him. I have him wide receiver 9. Yeah. So, But yeah, he's got Sky Moore like his third or fourth receiver. But, everybody was like, he's little. He's a slot only guy. I think he can play both. He probably projects better as a slot. But, man, this dude tested through the roof across the board at the combine.
Yeah.
Everything was in the top third of the wide receiver class. When they're running their route drills, everything, the slant routes, the in routes, the go routes, the post routes, everything just looked good. The breaks look good. It looks smooth. It looks fluid. He's got good extension to build that catch radius. For a smaller guy, he really gets his hands out there and makes a nice target for his quarterback. So Sky Moore could be a guy, right, that, if you say, okay, let's put CD in the, in the Z primarily, right, as our other outside receiver.
Yeah.
Let Sky Moore run the slot. Let Gallup run the X. And if you can't make that work, you need a new coaching staff or a new quarterback. And we both know that's not the case. So you need a new coaching staff.
Yeah. No, I feel that. That's good.
Yeah, give me Zion Johnson in the first, Sky Moore in the second, and we'll figure this thing out. Or Kenyon Green, probably not Zion. Zion's okay.
That is,
give me Kenyon.
Even though some of the deals have not, been to the Cowboys' favor as a team, they still have a chance with, some smart picks to still maximize the talent in the window, of the people that are still here.
Man, isn't it wild, though, that last year we were all freaking out so much about this defense, including the Cowboys, right? Because 95% of their draft was defensive last year. And we're now having a discussion, and partly because we just decided that Amari Cooper's not good enough anymore. Now we're having a discussion of like, hey, are 2 of our 3 top 100 picks going to be offense?
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's just wild. Everything feels everything's pure speculation, right? During the off season until stuff gets done. But I feel like in the for the most part, this is the path. The path has been laid because of some of the deals we've done, right?
Straight up.
There's a little bit of maneuvering. There's gonna be a little bit of free agency, but I mean the path is kind of written already because of how we've done that. So
it has been written.
Like to see that improve going forward, but the Jones family is still there, so I can hold my breath and just wait and pass out.
On the bright side, we won't have Zeke's albatross of a contract next year.
Hey man, sure. Just
only one more year of your running back being a $30 million cap hit.
Yeah, and it is. The question is, are we gonna get another one, or are we just gonna tie ourselves to another player like that? But we'll see. It's a good show though. Got the rest of the combine finishing up, so we'll get the next show kind of going through some of those guys, talk about the combine.
Yeah.
Talk about deals.
Combine.
Yeah, man. And some deals get done.
I've been so distracted this whole show.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
We got a new outro to run for everybody with the Twitter handles.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on the Twitter.
Only tweeted one time last year.
Wow.
I promise I will tweet more, but it was a quality tweet. I wanted Kellen Moore drug tested.
Was a good tweet. Was a good tweet. I'm a little bit more active, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Tyler there though. Run that outro. Let's get out of here. AFAB out.